Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
Interesting you talk about how that you feel like the American president has way too much power that any one individual should have on the planet. Now, recently, I think it was Mitch McConnell who wanted to, I think it was last week, he wanted to rush in the war powers authorization that was basically not limited by geography or time, meaning that if Obama, so meaning that Obama could even, like, if you wanted to deploy American troops on American soil,
sure,
practically martial law.
Well, that's what they want, and I've always thought that one of the things that happened after 9/11, I won't say it was entirely a military coup, but it had aspects of a military coup. No question, the military took on far more power than it ought to have, I would argue probably it shouldn't have any power, but certainly it was massively increased, very, very unfortunately. So, and we know this is what they'd like. They'd like to, if some, just like in Paris, if some city is giving them trouble, maybe not paying the property taxes in a future depression, send in the troops.
That's an interesting point. I mean, the IMF, World Bank, they could ask Obama to deploy troops to this third world country that's behind on their debts, even though the debts are designed for them not to get out of. Yeah. So you could literally have American troops maybe going in and occupying countries and taking their natural resources and assets to settle these so-called debts.
Or confiscating our guns.
Yeah.
Occupying Minneapolis.
Yeah.
I mean, they love this kind of stuff. They love people who are in government. They love doing this to people. Mm-hmm. This is what they get a charge out of. That's why they love wars. They love killing. Yeah. They love ordering people to be killed. Drone strikes. Mm-hmm. I always think of Obama as when he's signing the death orders over his scrambled eggs in the morning or whatever and enjoying it. Mm-hmm. This is not good. People who like that kind of stuff, who crave it, not good. I remember reading about an interview that Roy Medvedev had of Khrushchev after he'd been kicked out of power. He's in exile, and he was going to do a book about him. And to me, one of the most interesting things was Khrushchev talked about how he really just was tough for him to hold on to power in one sense because he just was getting old. He felt that he was getting tired of everything. He said at some point in your life you don't care about cars, you don't care about dachas, vacation homes, you don't care about money, you don't care about women, you don't care about food. He said, although the one thing you never tire of is the exercise of power. People like Khrushchev or like Obama or all the other people in government, they love crushing other people, ordering them what to do. They love, and if there's going to be a hurricane, they love ordering people out of their homes, ordering them to go here or there. They just live for that kind of stuff. These are bad people.
That was an excellent report from Kit Daniels. Now let's talk a little bit about this election coming up. I'm sure you haven't heard enough about it already, but I hear these talks about the vast right-wing conspiracy against Madam Clinton. Now, is it true that Republicans don't like Hillary for the mere fact that she is a Democrat? Yes, that is true. It's also true that Democrats don't like Republicans for the simple fact that they are Republicans. And now we see that Mrs. Clinton is spending more on polling than 6 GOP candidates combined. They say Marco Rubio and Jeb Bush each spent about $150,000. Ben Carson and Donald Trump declined to buy any polling research. Ted Cruz spent the most out of the Republican Party with $380,000. But Mrs. Clinton spent a staggering $720,000 on polls last quarter, as much as the 6 top Republicans combined. So as they say, it's the Republican machine and they're after Hillary, and be very clear, I'm not a Republican. I'm just saying this is what they say. The Republican machine's after Hillary and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, Mrs. Clinton, you're outspending everybody. What possible, complaint do you have? You're getting mad because they're going after you for legitimate things like Benghazi, the email scandal, which I think Benghazi is a bigger deal than the email scandal, but there is some legitimate stuff going on there, the 22 emails that they're saying they can't release because of security issues here in the nation. So yes, Mrs. Clinton, they do have a legitimate claim to go after you on. And now Mrs. Clinton isn't just fighting with the Republicans, she's fighting with people in her own party. Enter Bernie Sanders. Clinton blasts Sanders on Brady Bill in their first one-on-one debate. I don't think it was particularly progressive to vote against the Brady Bill 5 times, said Mrs. Clinton. I don't think it was progressive to vote to give gun makers and sellers immunity. That's not exactly what any type of gun law does. To say that the gun lobby, as they like to call it, is completely immune? No, I don't think that they should be demonized for the simple fact that they sell a gun. Like when they went after Bushmaster after Sandy Hook, they're trying to ban these guys or fine these guys for simply selling a product. That'd be like going after Ford or Chevy for simply selling a car. Now, if the car is defective, if the car is doing something it's not supposed to do, yeah, then you can have your class action suits and all that, but simply selling it is not a crime in and of itself. That's why I was very much against the Brady bill. Now, as we're talking about the firearms, let's talk about people's rights. And this story shouldn't even be a story. I should just be able to sit up here and say, breaking news, judges follow the law, and move on to the next story, but we can't do that because we're into a point in this country where people just completely ignore the Constitution. And now we see people have a fundamental right to own assault weapons, a court rules. And this was a 3-judge panel in the U.S. Court of Appeals, the Fourth Circuit, that said the state's prohibition on what the court called the vast majority of semi-automatic rifles, commonly kept by several million American citizens, amounted to a violation under the rights of the Constitution. So this is something that's going on here in the United States of America. This was in Maryland. And yeah, like I said, I should just be able to say that, you know, judges follow the law, but it is somewhat of a rarity that you see people just say, hey, yeah, they have a constitutional right. They can own anything they damn well please. Now let's talk about some international news. Now, we've heard a lot about these refugees going to foreign countries and causing some issues. And it's not because they're, you know, refugees from whatever country. As a black man from Oklahoma, if a bunch of black guys from Oklahoma went over to Switzerland or Sweden or wherever, and they were causing drama, they were raping people and harming people, I'd say, yes, put them in jail, not because they were black or from Oklahoma, but just because they were doing the crime. And now we see that there is something called a Code 291, and Swedish police are covering up thousands of crimes involving refugees. According to a report in a Swedish newspaper, around 5,000 incidents have been kept secret, including 559 cases of violence, 194 assaults, 2 terror threats, and 4 rapes. The article explains that the incidents have been covered up because of the directive from the National Operational Department that any information pertaining to the behavior of refugees be censored. And once again, I don't care where you're from, you know, why you're there, whatever. If you're out there committing crimes, if you're doing 559 violent cases, 194 assaults, 2 terror threats, and 4 rapes, I'm like, yeah, you need to go to jail regardless of your race, religion, ethnic origin, or whatever else. It has nothing to do with race. It's just the simple fact you're doing this stuff. But they say they don't even want to report this. And we've seen this multiple times in many places going on all around the world, regardless. Even if there are people who grew up there in Switzerland or the Swedish people, domestic people who are raping people, yeah, they need to go to jail too. It's everybody who's in on the crime.
We believe in win-win, folks, treating people like we want to be treated. That's why we develop nutraceuticals with Dr. Group and other top researchers, chemists, scientists, you name it. He's one of our advisors, to come up with products like Anthroplex that is an original product that he made just for us. And this is a base system to make super male or super female vitality work even better. It is natural. It just helps get your body pumping and going in the way you need to be going. And Dr. Group is here till we go to break to tell us about the latest product at InfoWarsLife.com, Anthroplex, that out of the gates, and we do this all the time with a new product, we discount it out of the gates to get you to try it, knowing that you're going to love it. It'll sell out. So InfoWarsLife.com, Anthroplex, 15% off and free shipping for the next 2 days only when you get it with super male or female vitality. Let's go to Dr. Group. Why do you call this the foundation to start the fire, and then the super male takes you to the next level?
Well, we just look at the base problem that's going on right now all over the world, which is the endocrine disrupting chemicals, the amount of estrogen that men have, the femininity of men, and what's going on even in children right now with low testosterone levels, low sperm count levels, and the problems that in the attack that we're seeing on the endocrine systems of both male and female. So I'm always looking for ways to boost that and to make it more effective and naturally get the body to start producing these hormones and balancing themselves. So what we decided to do was, how can we add a few other components in there that would actually boost the effectiveness of the super male vitality, and at the same time address different issues that the male might have, so it would be a full approach. And one of those was zinc. And zinc is actually necessary for the production of testosterone. There's more and more studies coming out that zinc is essential for hormone balancing.
What is in the goat weed? You've got one of the purest, strongest organic forms of it. What's so magic about the goat weed?
Well, the horny goat weed was given that name because years ago in India, they noticed that a certain time of the year, this weed would grow and the goats would eat it and they would just go crazy with all the female goats. So that's how it was developed. It's called epimedium. And what that's been proven to do over thousands of years is increase sexual pleasure, help balance the male hormones. It can actually be used for women as well, but it really kind of resets and brings the hormone balance, improves sperm motility, and increases testosterone levels.
So it counters the stuff they've been throwing at us. Results will vary overall. All I know is dynamite. I mean, absolutely dynamite with the stamina, with the weightlifting, with the swimming. Folks, the new product is available. Anthroplex, available at InfoWarsLife.com. Dr. Group, thank you for developing this amazing product.
Thank you.